How to turn tension into attraction in 3 easy steps. Let's start with something most men misunderstand. Attraction is not built through comfort. It's built through tension. But the word tension scares people. They imagine awkward silence. They imagine pressure. They imagine conflict. That's not the tension we're talking about. The tension that creates attraction is psychological energy. It's the space between two people where something could happen, but it hasn't happened yet. And that space is powerful. Think about the moments you remember most in your life, not the calm ones. The moments filled with anticipation. The moment before a kiss. The moment before a confession. The moment when someone looks at you just a little longer than normal. That moment is tension. And tension is where attraction lives. But most men destroy it. Not intentionally. They just never learned how to handle it. So, the moment tension appears, they panic. They feel the silence. They crack a joke. They over-explain. They rush to prove themselves. And without realizing it, they erase the very thing that creates attraction. The real problem most men have. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men are trained to remove tension, not create Italiano. From childhood we're taught, be polite, be agreeable, make people comfortable. And those things are good. But attraction doesn't grow in pure comfort. It grows in the balance between comfort and tension. Too much tension, she feels unsafe. Too much comfort, she feels bored. The sweet spot is right in the middle, where there's curiosity, where there's uncertainty, where there's energy. This is why sometimes a conversation feels electric, and other times it feels flat. Not because of what was said, but because of how tension was handled. What your competitors tell you. Most dating advice focuses on tactics. Lines to say and things to text. How to escalate. But what they really selling is tension control. Because the men who naturally attract women are not necessarily the best looking. They're the ones who understand how to hold emotional energy without collapsing it. They don't rush. They don't panic. They let the moment breathe. And that creates gravity. You can feel it when someone has this ability. Their presence slows the room down. People lean in when they speak. Silence around them doesn't feel awkward. It feels charged. And women are extremely sensitive to this. They notice it instantly, not consciously, but emotionally, because tension signals something very specific. Confidence. When a man is comfortable inside tension, it tells her he is emotionally stable. It tells her he is not desperate. It tells her he is not chasing validation. And those signals are deeply attractive. The hidden power of emotional space. Let's talk about something subtle, something most people overlook. Attraction doesn't happen in the words. It happens between them. Into pauses, in the glances, in the moments where nothing is said. That space is emotional oxygen. And when you give that oxygen room, the connection grows. But when you fill every second with noise, you suffocate it. Imagine two people talking. One person speaks. The other instantly responds. Then speaks again. Then asks another question. Then explains something else. The conversation never breathes. There's no rhythm, no anticipation, no emotional build. But when someone pauses, just for a second, the dynamic changes. Suddenly, the moment has weight. Suddenly, the other person feels something. That's tension. And tension creates attraction. Why silence is so powerful? Most men fear silence. They interpret it as failure. They think if nothing is happening, they're losing. But silence is not empty. Silence is potential. When you hold eye contact for a moment longer than expected, that's tension. When you pause before responding, that's tension. When you smile slightly instead of explaining yourself, that's tension. And tension invites curiosity. Curiosity is the emotional engine of attraction because the human brain hates unanswered questions. When something feels unresolved, the mind leans closer. It wants to understand. It wants to explore. And attraction grows in that curiosity. The first mindset shift. Before we talk about the 3 steps, you need to understand something important. You are not trying to create tension artificially. You are learning to stop destroying it. Because tension already appears naturally. Every time two people feel something slightly uncertain. Every time there's a moment of emotional possibility. Your only job is to hold it calmly. Not rush. Not panic. Not overperform. Just stay present. And when you do that, something interesting happens. The tension that once felt uncomfortable starts to feel exciting, and when tension becomes exciting, attraction begins. The most important skill in attraction, the ability to hold emotional tension without reacting, because the moment you master this, your presence changes. Your conversations change, and the way people respond to you changes. Now that you understand what tension is, we need to talk about how it actually works in real interactions. Because tension is fragile. Handled correctly, it creates attraction. Handled poorly, it creates awkwardness. The difference between those two outcomes comes down to emotional control, and that leads us to the first step. Step 1. Hold the moment without reacting. This is the skill that separates confident men from nervous ones. The ability to stay calm when tension appears. Most men don't notice the exact moment tension begins, but women do. And that moment often looks very simple. Eye contact that lasts a second longer, a playful challenge, a teasing comment, a pausing conversation where both people suddenly become aware of each other. These are small moments, but emotionally, they're powerful because they create uncertainty. And uncertainty is where attraction begins. The problem is, most men react immediately. They laugh nervously. They change the topic. They explain themselves. They start talking faster. Why? Because tension feels uncomfortable. The brain interprets it as social risk. But confident men do something different. They hold the moment. They don't rush to resolve it. They allow the silence to exist. And that calm presence changes everything. Because when you don't react, she begins to feel the moment more strongly. And that emotional intensity becomes attraction. Why emotional stillness is attractive? Think about the difference between two types of men. One man reacts instantly to everything. Every comment gets a quick answer. Every silence gets filled. Every challenge gets defended. The other man pauses, smiles slightly, responds slowly, or sometimes not at all. Which one feels more grounded? Which one feels more confident? It's the second one, not because he is a selling more, but because he's not controlled by the moment. Emotional stillness communicates something powerful. I'm comfortable here. And comfort in uncertainty signals confidence. When a man can stay relaxed inside tension, it tells a woman something about his emotional strength. He's not seeking approval. He's not afraid of silence. He's not trying to impress. He's simply present. And presence creates gravity. People naturally lean toward it. The mistake most men make. Let's talk about the biggest mistake. Overcompensating. When tension appears, many men try to force attraction. They escalate too quickly. They start flirting harder. They become louder, more performative. But attraction rarely grows through force. It grows through space. When you allow tension to exist without rushing it, the connection deepens naturally. This is why some conversations feel electric even when very little is said. Because the energy is being held, not rushed. And the man who can hold that energy becomes intriguing. Step 2. Introduce playful challenge. Once you can hold tension, the next step is learning how to spark it intentionally. And the most powerful way to do that is through playful challenge. Not criticism, not negativity. Challenge. There's a difference. Most interactions between strangers are overly polite. Both people are careful. Both people are agreeable. Both people avoid saying anything risky, and that creates safety. But it also creates boredom. Playful challenge breaks that pattern. It introduces a tiny bit of unpredictability. For example, instead of agreeing with everything she says, you tease lightly. Instead of validating immediately, you question playfully. Instead of acting impressed, you act curious. This small shift changes the dynamic, because now there's tension, not hostile tension, playful tension. And playful tension creates energy. Why playful tension is so attractive? Human attraction thrives on emotional movement. When everything is predictable, the brain relaxes. But when something unexpected happens, attention increases. That's exactly what playful challenge does. It keeps the interaction alive. It creates a small push and pull dynamic. And that push and pull creates chemistry. Think about flirting. The best flirting is rarely direct. It's playful. It's teasing. It's slightly unpredictable. And that unpredictability stimulates the brain. Because now the interaction feels different from normal conversations. It feels charged. It feels interesting. It feels alive. And when an interaction feels alive, attraction grows naturally. The balance you must maintain. There's an important balance here. Challenge without warmth becomes arrogance. Warmth without challenge becomes friendship. Attraction lives between the two. So the goal is not to dominate the interaction. The goal is to introduce just enough tension to create curiosity. Then allow the moment to breathe. This rhythm creates emotional momentum, and momentum is what turns simple conversations into attraction. The pattern you should notice, so far, the pattern is simple. First, you hold tension. Then you create playful tension. But there's still one final step. The step that transforms tension into real attraction. Because tension alone is not enough. It needs direction, and that's exactly what we'll talk about next. By now you understand the first two steps. First, you hold tension without reacting. Second, you create playful challenge to spark emotional energy. But there's one more step, because tension alone doesn't create attraction. It only creates possibility. Attraction happens when tension is followed by emotional release, and that's where the third step comes in. Step 3. Reward the tension with warmth. This is the moment where everything clicks, because tension creates curiosity, but warmth creates connection. And attraction needs both. Imagine a conversation where a man teases playfully, holds eye contact, and introduces tension, but never softens. Eventually, that tension becomes uncomfortable. The interaction feels like a game instead of a connection. But when tension is followed by warmth, something powerful happens. The brain experiences contrast, and contrast intensifies emotion. Think about a roller coaster. The drop feels exciting because of the climb before it. In the same way, warmth feels stronger after tension. How this actually looks in conversation. Let's say she challenges you. Are you always this confident? An insecure man might defend himself. I'm not that confident. A try-hard man might escalate. Yeah, I know I'm confident. But a confident man might respond with playful tension first. Only on Tuesdays. He smiles slightly, holds eye contact for a moment. That's tension. Then he softens the moment. But honestly, I just enjoy meeting interesting people. That's warmth. See the pattern? Tension, then warmth, challenge, then connection. This rhythm creates emotional depth, and emotional depth creates attraction. Why emotional contrast is so powerful? Human emotions respond strongly to contrast. When everything feels the same, the brain loses interest. But when emotions shift, attention increases. Tension followed by warmth creates a powerful emotional cycle. First, curiosity. Then, comfort. First, uncertainty. Then, connection. And this emotional movement makes interactions memorable. It's the difference between a flat conversation and a conversation that feels electric. The push and pull dynamic. You've probably heard the phrase, push and pull. But most people misunderstand it. Push and pull isn't manipulation. It's emotional rhythm. Push creates space. Pull creates connection. Push introduces tension. Pull introduces warmth. Together, they create balance. Without push, there's no excitement. Without pull, there's no trust. Attraction happens when both exist together. And the men who understand this naturally create stronger chemistry. Not because they try harder, but because they understand emotional timing. Why timing matters more than words. A lot of men focus on what to say. But attraction is rarely about the exact words. It's about timing. The pause before a response. The moment of eye contact. The slight smile after tension. Those small details change how the interaction feels. And feeling is everything. Because attraction is emotional before it is logical. People don't analyze why they're attracted. They feel it. And that feeling often comes from emotional rhythm, tension, then warmth, challenge, then connection, space, then closeness. The deeper truth about attraction. Let's step back for a moment, because the 3 steps we discussed are not tricks. They're reflections of something deeper. Attraction grows when someone feels emotionally alive around you. And emotional aliveness comes from tension and release. If every interaction is predictable, attraction fades. If every interaction is intense, comfort disappears. But when someone experiences both with you, they remember you. That's why some people leave a strong impression without saying anything extraordinary. They simply understand how to hold emotional energy. The 3 steps. Simplified. So let's bring everything together. Step 1. Hold tension without reacting. Stay calm when moments become emotionally charged. Step 2. Create playful challenge. Introduce light unpredictability to spark curiosity. Step 3. Reward the moment with warmth. Balance tension with genuine connection. When these 3 steps work together, tension transforms into attraction. Not forced attraction, natural attraction. Here's the most important realization. You don't need to become someone different to create attraction. You simply need to become comfortable with emotional space. Most men rush to fill every silence. They rush to prove themselves. They rush to resolve uncertainty. But attraction grows in uncertainty. So instead of rushing, slow down. Instead of performing, stay present. Instead of chasing the moment, allow it to unfold. Because the people who are most attractive are not the ones trying the hardest. They're the ones who can hold emotional energy without losing themselves. And when you learn to do that, tension stops feeling uncomfortable. It starts feeling exciting. And that excitement is exactly where attraction begins.